Have you ever asked yourself the question, why do I exist? What is my purpose? Why did God create me? All the prophets of Allah came with the answer to that question. The only place you can find the details and the information to the answer is in divine scriptures. The Quran is the final revelation. In the Quran you find the answer to that question. The first thing Allah Ta'ala created was the pen, and He commanded the pen to write everything that will happen until the Day of Judgment. Our purpose as human beings is to worship Allah. Allah Ta'ala says in Holy Quran, وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that He created the jinn kind and the mankind to worship Him. So our purpose is to worship Allah Ta'ala. Worship is a very broad subject. There's many things which come under worship. Fasting is worship, charity is worship, praying is worship. There are many different forms of worship, but our purpose is to worship Allah Ta'ala. Our life is being recorded. There are angels monitoring us, watching us, taking note of what we say and what we do. The remembrance of Allah is very important, because sin usually occurs when one becomes neglectful and doesn't remember Allah Ta'ala. When you remember Allah Ta'ala, you become protected. He protects you. The forces of evil operate most freely when consciousness of Allah Ta'ala is lost. So when you stop remembering Allah Ta'ala, the shaitans get a grip of you. The devils strive hard to occupy the minds of humanity. They strive hard to divert people's attention away from remembering Allah Ta'ala. And when they do that, it causes people to commit sins. So it's important to have a routine, a schedule where you remember Allah Ta'ala every day. There's a verse in the Quran where Allah Ta'ala says, Satan has overcome them and made them forget the remembrance of Allah. SubhanAllah, that's a deep verse. Humanity needs to remember Allah Ta'ala for their own salvation and growth. It's only by remembering Allah Ta'ala that you will succeed. The purpose for creation in this world, the purpose of humanity, shall I say, in this world, the reason Allah Ta'ala created us in this world is to test us, to test our conduct, how we behave, who's the best indeed. Allah Ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, it is He who created you to test you which of you is best in conduct. The world was created to sift out the righteous from the wicked. The righteous people go to paradise and the wicked people go to hellfire. Right now every single one of us is on a journey. We're on a journey in this life. Everything's being recorded. The angels are recording everything we do. On the Day of Judgment we're going to be faced with a record, and it's going to have everything we did inside of it. So it's important that we worship Allah Ta'ala and do what we were created to do, so we can enter the paradise. Nothing can happen without the will of Allah Ta'ala. The more you worship Allah Ta'ala, the more protected you get. And we're living in a time where protection is essential. We're all in need of it. There's so much evil spread throughout the entire world. So we need to worship Allah Ta'ala, we need to focus on our purpose, and we need to try and get back home to paradise where we belong. We don't belong here. Life is temporary. Every single one of us is going to die sooner or later. Many people have walked this earth and they've had the treasures, but what happened to them in the end? They all died. So similarly, we're going to also die. So focus on what you were created to do, which is worship Allah Ta'ala, and that's the key to salvation. That's the key to success. La ilaha illallah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah. Muhammadur Rasulullah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah Ta'ala. In the religion of Islam you can find the most complete system of worship. Allah Ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, whoever desires another religion other than Islam will have it rejected. So the only way you can succeed is by following Islam. You won't succeed if you follow Christianity. You won't succeed if you follow Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism. The only way to succeed is by following Islam. It's important that you only worship Allah. Don't worship the prophets. Don't raise your hands supplicating to the prophets because they can't help you. Only Allah can answer your prayers. So it's important that we worship Allah Ta'ala alone. He created us, and He alone we worship, and He alone we ask for help. So don't seek help through saints or prophets, because this is called shirk.